Alright, I guess here, let's start with the drums and the ambience. So for the ambience, I basically took a short looped clip from Kiki's delivery service when she's on the train. This was like an hour-long YouTube video that I took it from, but I just took a short snippet of it and added it here. Literally, vinyl noise. I noticed a lot of times in a lot of his tracks or Ethereal's tracks, the vinyl noise won't be just like random, it'll be like looped up to speed with the drum, so like the loop starts over with the next hit of the two-step pattern, which is pretty cool. Sometimes they'll use like different types of effects like delay to get the vinyl noise over the hum when there's a break in like the drum pattern, so it grooves pretty well. Here's what it sounds like with the kicks. So for just both of these, I just cut out the lows and a little bit of the highs, so it doesn't interfere with a lot of the drums and the hi-hats. So it still fills the space, but doesn't interfere with a lot of the other drum sounds. So for the kick, and I've noticed from watching a lot of other people's tutorials too, he'll have on the first beat of his two-step pattern or his garage pattern, he'll have like a boomy type kick, and for this one I used rim shot here, or pitch down rim shot. Let's see, some EQ, yeah, I pitched it out pretty high. Layer it with an 808 kick and like an orchestral drum hit or a cinematic drum hit. In a lot of his older tracks like Archangel and Untrue, he used a lot of these pitch down rim shots with like a boomy first hit on the pattern. And I don't think I EQ'd these a lot. Guess I did add a little bit of reverb to the 808 to get some more space. So for the hi-hats down here, they're all like really high knife shots and stuff. I think this one here, or these here, I sampled from a Burial song. And these here I took from like a video game. And you can see I played around with the gain. I know if he'll do that too. He'll like reuse. It's not like a different hi-hat. He'll just turn the velocity or the gain up and down on each individual hit, making it seem like it's a different sound, but it's really not, you know? And I also noticed towards the end of his like two-step patterns, you can hear this in Kindred and a couple other of his tracks, he'll add like another set of hi-hats or something that kicks through the rest of the hi-hats that sounds pretty cool here. Play this first. You can see I took these off grid. Some of them are on grid, and then some of them I just like slid off the grid using Control Alt and just dragging it, or yeah, like this. So you can kind of drag off the grid on Ableton. Kind of emulates what he was doing with SoundForge, where he didn't really have a grid at all. So here's what it sounds like with the hi-hats down here. If you listen closely, you can hear it. It's really subtle, but it adds a lot of groove and texture to his music. You know, if you're a Burial fan, you'll know if you listen to his tracks over and over and over again, that each time you listen, you'll find something new from his tracks that you didn't hear on the first initial like 50 listens. So it's pretty cool to see how he puts together his sounds and all of that. Makes it really unique. And up here for a lot of his older tracks, he used a lot of these like stick sounds. Sounds like this. I think I sampled all of these from like video games. This one I got from like a song. These here I got from video games, and they're all different. These 6 up here are the same. These down here are different. So yeah, I pitched these differently so they stick out from each other. And these two are just completely different, but it adds a lot of cool texture and sounds to his tracks. Yeah. The drums all together, it sounds like this. I notice a lot of times too, I know Ableton has like a groove function, but if you want to make something that sounds a lot like Burial, you should avoid using a lot of the swing. He creates his own swing in his tracks by just offsetting his hi-hats and percussions from the grid rather than adding like a programmed swing. For the vocals up here, the backing vocals sounds like this. I basically just took some vocal samples from an older Anjuna Deep song. This is what it originally sounds like. Back to love. For the processing here, I pitched each of these down by 8, and in Melodyne, I pitched some of the vocal transients up and down a little bit. I think these two I pitched up, and this one I pitched down a little bit to groove along with the piano or the other ambience I'll show later. If I didn't do that, then it sounds kind of off, and to fit the key of the song of scale, you gotta go inside, and you can do this by just splitting here and then pitching down like individual tracks. But if you use something like Melodyne, it's a lot easier. It gives you more like creative freedom when you're working with vocals. And then just ran it through some echo, reverb, and EQ'd it a lot. Without the EQ, it sounds like this. So I just have the vocal sitting in the background here. I'm using the drums as more of the drivers of the track. For the piano samples here, they sound like this. I basically just took that from like an older animation. This is what it originally sounds like for the piano samples.
最もこのそういう世界だからこそ一つそうだね
Yeah, this is it right here. Don't know if you can really hear the resemblance with that and these right here, but I took like short snippets of it and pitched each of these differently, stretched them out a little bit, you know. So also has that like off-griddy feel with those textures and ambient noises. For this one down here, I just looped the short piano noise up here. It's like the main driver. Here's how all this sounds with the vocals. Here's how everything sounds again. Alright, well, thanks for sticking towards the end. I found a lot of use out of watching other people's tutorials, so I thought I'd try my hand at it, you know? If you found something useful from this video, let me know in the comments, and